Turn your camera on.
It is on.
It's a sovereign citizen situation, right?
I don't know what that word means.
Well,
yeah. I'm gonna say I'm not saying that I'm one of them, but I'm just saying I'm operating under what the Constitution Supreme Court ruling is talking about.
The irony here is that the defendant desperately needs a legal guidebook, though even with one in hand, it's doubtful he'd use it properly. Too many people walk into court believing confidence alone will win a case, but the legal system doesn't work that way. You need credible arguments, supporting evidence, and at least a working knowledge of the law. He came with none of that, and it showed at every turn. As Judge Perkins moved forward by scheduling a jury trial, the reality set in. This fight is only going to get harder for him. Now, whether a jury will take his defense seriously or see it for what it is remains to be seen. I'll leave that question with you. Is this man headed toward a fair chance, or just setting himself up for an even greater loss? Thanks for following along with today's breakdown. If you'd like me to cover what happens in his jury trial, let me know, because something tells me that hearing will be just as eye-opening.
Well, Your Honor, when the officer pulled me over and he said that, I didn't say those words. I just told him I'm operating under the Constitution, and that's all else I said to him. And he just basically lied, said I was disgruntled, asked for backup and all that. And the video would show I wasn't even whatever, I can't think of the word he said, but he was saying I need backup. I have a irate or whatever word he said, and that was not even true.
It's just what you're saying is just not the state of the law. I don't know any other way to say it.
We just going to continue with the case, and whatever comes about. If the paperwork I given wasn't irrelevant, that's it then. So what is the next step?
So either the next step is take a plea, which I'm sure you don't want to do, but I'll give you the offer, or take it to trial, and those are the next steps.
Well, I guess we're going to have to go to trial.
I'm gonna set it for a jury trial too, so you can bring this in front of a jury of your peers and see, what they say. And I guess you don't want a lawyer, right?
The other cases that I had got dismissed for the same situation. So
say what?
The other cases I had for this was dismissed, and you told me to give you one name of one person, and I could have said it then and there. It was myself. I had court cases for the same thing, and it was dismissed on whatever circumstances happened. It was dismissed.
Today's hearing is something else. We've got Judge Perkins facing off with a self-proclaimed sovereign citizen who insists he doesn't need a driver's license to operate a car. Perkins doesn't let it slide for a second. He challenges him directly, pointing out how little the man understands about even the most basic traffic laws. At one point, the judge even offers him legal counsel, but the defendant waves it off, convinced he can outsmart the system. It sets the stage for a heated exchange that shows just how far some people will go to deny the reality of the law. So let's take a closer look at how this unfolds and why these cases always seem to spiral in the same direction.
And what do you mean by that?
For the same driver.
Let's do this. Let's call it and put it all on the record. I have my court reporter back. Let's call it and put it on the record, all right? So, Mr. Lynch, let me ask you this, and this is just to understand, try to really get a grasp of your position. I understand you're why don't you, if you're not a sovereign citizen, usually sovereign citizens tell me, I don't want a lawyer. If you're not claiming the sovereign citizenship, why don't you get a lawyer to help you out with this?
I can't never find no attorney. The last attorney I got, they was telling me you should have just took a deal, you should have paid the ticket, and you really can't find nobody who's going to take your case. So basically I'm in limbo, and basically all I have to say, not guilty with impunity.
The defendant then tries something unusual. He attempts to brush off other pending cases against him as if they don't matter. If you're going to act as your own attorney, you think step one would be at least opening a law book or doing a bit of research. Instead, he's arguing against established rules with nothing to back it up. The simple truth? Paying a small traffic fine and getting a proper driver's license would save him far more time and money than sparring with a judge in open court. Instead, he's piling on legal trouble and giving Judge Perkins more reasons to call out his behavior on record. It's almost like he'd rather fight a losing battle than take the straightforward path forward.
Let's say this. I guess if you're not willing to,
so I'm not a national, so I can't say that. All I'm saying, I'm just a citizen, and all I'm going to say, not guilty with impunity.
well, how are you immune to this? Because I mean, let's just do this. You don't have to. You don't have to tell me how you're going to proceed with your case. You're fully in the right to proceed however you want to proceed. I'm going to just give you a jury trial, and you'll have to present what you need to present in front of a jury. Will you allow me to assign a lawyer to you just for the purposes of, helping you out with the courtroom procedure and stuff?
You can do that.
I don't find anything that he's filed that has any merit. So that's why I'm giving you a jury trial, because if you bring the same stuff in a trial, if it's the same as what you're giving me and the stuff that you're professing, based on what I see, you're gonna lose.
So
By me.
If the judge is saying the information is not valid and the people don't know nothing, so why won't I put my hands in the hands of the people?
Next comes his plea, not guilty, without a shred of responsibility. At this point, you start to understand why no lawyer wants to represent him. It's not that the case is complicated. It's that the client refuses to acknowledge reality. Instead of resolving a simple ticket, he's dragging it into a performance that looks less like legal defense and more like courtroom theater. And if you caught the laughter from someone on the Zoom call, you're not alone. It highlights just how absurd the moment became. Judge Perkins, meanwhile, is clearly running out of patience. What should have been a routine matter is quickly turning into a spectacle where the only thing the defendant seems to be achieving is embarrassing himself further.
Because first of all, what I'm telling you is I'm trying to give you a fighting chance with these arguments that you're making. What I'm telling you is you're not going to have a fighting chance with me. You're going to lose unless you come with something substantially different than what you have. At least with the people, you said it yourself. They don't know the law, or they might not even know the law. So you may be able to get them to side with you just because they love Mr. Lynch and they want to. I don't know. But other than that,
no jury. I really don't know people jury. I'm not even gonna do that. So if I found guilty, so I'm gonna have to sue every person that was a juror.
I don't know what you're gonna have to do. I don't know, Mr. Lynch. You're the one that's making these arguments up, and you're the one that has researched and done what you've done. You provided that stuff to me, so you're expected to know the law. You're expected to know the law. So whether you can sue jurors and whether you can sue whoever, that's going to be on you to know, and then or if you don't know, that's going to be on you to find out.
Okay, so I have to get back with the law department about the videos and the dash cam of the police officers.
Mr. Bowman, can you put your appearance on the record, please? Now, Mr. Lynch, now I can potentially help you if the stuff exists. Mr. Lynch is asking for body cam and whatever discovery that body cam, audio, video, whatever discovery that the people have in relates to his matters.
Your Honor, I understand that, and discovery would be provided if he files a valid request pursuant to the court rule for discovery.
So you saying I haven't done that previously? I don't see
Hold on.
Hold on, Mr. Lynch. Your Honor, if I'm not mistaken, the court rule just says upon request. He's made his request today. I don't think that there's anything in the court rule that requires anything other than him making a request. Mr. Lynch has made his request for discovery, and I believe it's supposed to be provided to him.
Court rule provides for a written request, and that has not happened.
All right, let's discovery rule 6 point. We're gonna know this discovery rule, and you got it
Forward and backwards.
Yeah, you need to get this book. You need to get this book, Mr. Lynch.
By this point, you have to wonder, is the defendant pretending not to understand, or does he truly believe what he's saying? Judge Perkins ultimately decides to move the matter to a jury trial, and for good reason. Without that step, the case would collapse instantly because the defendant has presented no evidence, no coherent legal reasoning, just repeated claims that ignore reality. It's like watching someone argue against gravity. You can shout it all you want, but the law isn't going to bend to wishful thinking. The judge's decision ensures fairness, but also sets the stage for a much tougher test the defendant is unlikely to pass.